You just gotta learn the tricks of the trade. We're on. I'd like to call the meeting of the August JAC meeting. And first item on the agenda, we have a new member, Clay Merritt. And would you like to tell a little bit about yourself, Clay?
Sure.
The green button on the or the red button on the microphone. Yeah.
All right. I've been married 35 years to my wife, Carolyn. Many of you know Carolyn. She's a little more outspoken than I am on many things. We moved here 5 years ago, play a lot of golf. I'm also involved with the Friends of the Highlands, so we take care of the course there. I volunteer with Pedal It Forward, which repairs bikes and then gives those away. So I'm involved with the bike committee. I ride the trails here, so I have a little feeling for what the bikers are looking for with access to the golf course and some trails. I'm happy to be on this. I look forward to working with this group to make Bella Vista even a better place to golf.
Thank you, Clay. We welcome you. Okay, first of all, we need to approve the minutes of the July meeting. Can I have Jerry, a second?
Second.
Are there any additions or corrections? Gary, you did a good job. All those?
Were those my minutes?
No, they weren't.
No, we're not doing
They
that.
were not your minutes.
Thank
But all
God.
those approving? I have Brad Lawrence's proxy. He's gone today, so I have his proxy. So, okay, we're going to make a little change in the situation today. Tom's going to go ahead and do the orientation because he may need to leave early. And this they do on all advisory groups.
Yeah, we do this for all three of the joint advisory groups every year for new and returning members. And so I'll get through this, and if you have any questions, please stop me or ask me at the end. All right. So the purpose is to provide, of the committees, is to provide advice and recommendations to management and the board. And so you'll notice that I'm referencing policy 1.04 at the bottom. All the policies are available on our website. So what I've done is I've just kind of taken the most relevant ones and given you kind of plain English and then the lawyerly policies included. But you're more than welcome to go through and reference those for yourself. The structure is the JACs report directly to the board of directors. And each committee has at least 2 board liaisons, and we have 2 here today, but I think sometimes we have 3.
Kathleen.
And the liaisons act as intermediaries between the board of directors and the committees. And then notice that we intentionally put the liaisons over here because they're not supposed to be here leading the committee and overshadowing the committee. They're there to be liaisons, listening in, and so forth. So that's done on purpose. We also assign at least 1 management representative, and we have 3.5 representatives here. 4 representatives here. And Kyle's here and Jessica's over here. So we have quite a number of staff members here because we take these committee meetings very seriously. Reports to the board. Each month we ask you to submit minutes and provide a brief report at the board meeting. So we ask you to attend. Ruth's been really good about attending the regular board meetings in person and presenting the reports. If you can't make it, we ask that you submit a summary, and either Jessica or myself will read the summary. But it's always, we like the human touch, so if you can make it there, we really appreciate the live report. We always put those reports at the very beginning of the meeting, so the representatives from the committee are welcome to give their report and then get out of Dodge. That's okay. Advisory, the board of directors and management put a tremendous amount of value on the recommendations from the committee. But it is advisory. It's even in the name, Joint Advisory Committee. So recognize what your role is. The meetings are recorded, we live stream them, we have cameras in multiple locations, we have the booth back here and we live stream it out. And I mention that just to be aware, you know, you don't want to say things under your breath or, you know, comments or something like that that might be preserved for a long time and you wouldn't necessarily want that to happen. So just be aware. Our meetings are open. We have Kyle here, but we have no other guests here, but we always encourage our guests to come and to state their opinions and so forth. But subcommittees can be closed. Now, subcommittees, we'll go over those in just a little bit, but those meetings can be closed. Community input, you know, your job as a committee member is to interact with the community and get their input, be open-minded to it and so forth. And so try, as you know, talk to members about their golfing experience and then report. Member open forum, each meeting we always have an open forum. They can come up, they speak into the microphone. Just recognize it's not a debate. It's really them coming up and then them stating their opinion. Don't cut them off, let them talk, and then we can always respond afterwards. Now Jessica has a timer there and she's gonna time those comments. And it's real important that we give everybody 3 minutes. What we don't wanna do is someone comes up and they're a little crabby and you cut them off just a little bit early, and then the next person comes up and they're really happy-go-lucky giving us compliments, and you let them go for 5 or 6 minutes. Not a real good look in the community. So keep everybody gets 3 minutes. If you organize your thoughts in advance, you can give a really good input to the committee in 3 minutes. So just make sure you're always fair. Meeting handouts. We do have meeting handouts, but anything that's handed out in this meeting is open to the community. So you don't want to be handing this document out and, you know, oh, this is private. No, this is an open meeting. If you hand out anything, it's available to the community. Meeting length, we encourage the meetings to be limited to an hour. Sometimes they go over, but we always want to make sure that the meetings are efficient. Area of your concern, you just want to make sure that you stick to golf. You don't want to be here talking about the lakes. This is the golf committee. And also financial reports and amenity pricing do not fall within the JAC's area of responsibility. Your area of responsibility is the member experience, and we're going to talk more about that. But pricing is not in your area of responsibility. Uniquely compiled information. Sometimes a member of the community or a committee member will ask for really specific information, and sometimes that information is not easy to get your hands on, would require a lot of work to be done to get the information. So we can say no. This policy allows us to say, look, we're not going to do that. We provide statistics on golf rounds every single month. That information is available on our website. We analyze that information. We provide information regarding boat registrations, usage of our gym facilities. All that information is standardized information, and we try and keep to that standardized information because you can go down a really deep rabbit hole on uniquely compiled information. Annual budget recommendations are due by the end of August, and we encourage you to list those recommendations in order of importance. The recommendations can be capital projects or they can be operating. So capital would be large projects or equipment, and operational will be staffing. We always encourage the committee to be realistic with their recommendations and realistic with their expectations. You know, every once in a while someone will come in and, oh, we need a brand new pool house. That's great, I love the idea. But let's be realistic, that's not gonna happen. That's a little bit cost prohibitive. So be realistic with your recommendations and your expectations. We've clearly stated for this year that, that it's gonna be a lean year. We did, BVRC, Tanyard Creek, Kingsdale, Gun Range. We gotta take a breath this year. So this year is gonna be pretty modest, and we've been very open from the very beginning about that. So we try and set reasonable expectations on our side, and we wanna make sure you have reasonable expectations on your side. Please be respectful of staff time. You know, while we encourage you to interact with our staff, we don't want you setting up, you know, going to Kyle and say, hey, you know, can I have a meeting with you? And then all of a sudden, an hour later, Kyle hasn't been on the golf course for an hour. That's not your job. And they need to focus on their task at the task at hand. So we do want you to interact with our staff, but we don't want you to hoard their time. Subcommittees. So sometimes an issue will come up that requires further research. The Lakes Committee has done this a number of times where they've had some issues, and they'll go and assign certain committee members to research an issue and then report back to the committee at large. We ask that you have no more than 4 members on that committee. If you have 5, then you have a quorum. You effectively are having a meeting of the JAC. So you don't want to have more than 4. The meetings don't have to be open to the public. You don't take minutes. The recommendations from the subcommittee are not binding upon the JAC. With that being said, you also have 4 members from the committee on that JAC. So it's not binding, but in some ways it is. So just be aware of that. So you can use that if you ever needed to research a particular issue. Here's the biggest thing that we always want the committees to work on is focus on the member experience. You know, Graham is going in and out of the golf course every day, and Daryl's going in and out of the pro shops every day, and all of a sudden we lose focus and we don't see glaringly obvious things. This is where we want you to say, hey, have you noticed this? And we go, oh my God, I've walked by that 50 times, didn't even see it. Focus on the member experience. Are they having a good time? What can we do to make their experience even better? But focus on that experience. And most of all, many thanks for being a volunteer and helping to contribute to our community. Any questions? Thank you for your attention.
So for all of you who thought your check should be in the mail, it won't be. So.
Dave, there will be a written exam later on. So I hope you paid attention.
I will make sure I read Gary's notes. I'm sure he took copious notes.
Okay, let's talk about golf facilities. Jerry, do you want to start us off?
I sure would. I just want to compliment, since Kyle's here too, I'd like to compliment Kyle for his hard work that he's put in on Scottsdale. We've really got a good experience going over there. The greens were the best we've had them in quite a while that we played this morning. And the roughness is getting out of them. I know we've re-sanded them a little bit, and they're really rolling well. And the fairways and all of that are also in good shape. They're growing in. All of the patches and things that we've had look really, really good. And I just want to compliment Kyle and his staff for doing that. They're always out there working. You just got, if you want to find them, they're out there. They're out there working wherever they need. The couple of things I have noticed, and Kyle's addressed this before. I know I think he's got another leak over on 6 by the green. I know he's fixed that 2 or 3 times, different. I mean, he gets one fixed and another, but I know he's aware of that, but we do need to work with that. The other thing is people coming on the golf course in the evenings. I know we've had a volunteer down there at times trying to get those people. I think that's something, our membership really, if that's who it is, I don't know. I'm sure probably some of it is. But they're having some difficulties with that, coming on playing golf, coming on walking before everybody's off the golf course or whatever down there. And so, you know, that's just something we need to be aware of. And they are at the course, and they're taking some measures to kind of try to slow that down a little bit, I think. So, but other than that, pro shop, everything looks great.
Thank you, Jerry. Clay has just been given the Dogwood Complex, and so we'll excuse him for this month, and he'll pick up next month. Camilla?
I checked with Highlands and the temporary practice, practice area, and then all of the mats and everything. I was told that just to continue to try to encourage people to use the mat, put the tee in it, so that they don't walk down in front and use the grass, because that's not cool. So that's really all. I mean, they're doing very well out there. Everything's status like it was a month ago.
Okay, good.
You're not hitting balls at time tenders, are you?
Yeah. Next up would be Dave.
Okay, good. Well, much to my surprise this morning when I went over there, much to my surprise this morning when I went over there, the new pro shop is now open, and it is fantastic. The lighting in there is just like you're walking in the sunshine. I mean, it's just so bright. All the merchandise, fantastic. The new logos, the new washrooms in their facilities are outstanding. So, you know, for the first impression for the golf experience, they hit a home run there, and the money well spent. And the course is looking good. Everybody's happy. You know, golf carts are all clean and very accessible, and the staff is great. So, all is good at the Kingswood Complex.
One question, the path going down for Birchdale, if we had any issues with the new one with private carts?
No, everything's good. All the repairs were done. Private carts are good, and everyone's enjoying it. Feels a lot safer. But really, it's the washout. Before that was a big issue too. So it's all fixed, and we're rocking and rolling. It's busy.
Is Paul officially out of his bat cave?
No.
He was a proud papa running around there today. That's all I can say. He was.
We'll see about Saturday. We might have to put him back in.
Okay, thank you, Dave. Jim?
I have the country club, and I don't have a lot. It actually looks really good. I know Graham's probably going to talk about enlarging the fourth green. We got an email about that. The only thing I've noticed, the golf shop always looks fantastic, and I understand they got some new merchandise coming in, and it's a show place, I think, for Bella Vista Golf. The only thing I've noticed in the past couple of weeks, I've played 2 or 3 times lately, and one day the tee boxes were really kind of high, really needed to be mowed. Next time they were mowed, so I don't know how often we're mowing them, but that one day they were pretty high. But the greens are rolling good, fairways are looking good.
Okay, good. Any others for facilities? Thank you, everyone. We appreciate. Graham, you're up.
Okay. All right, so we've got some upcoming golf course aerations on greens. We're going to be doing Scottsdale and Brittany, and I have these dates wrong in the report, so I apologize for that. I was looking at the June number there, but it's actually August 26th and 27th, and the 28th will be closed for core aeration on those greens. Going into September, we're going to be doing the bent grass greens on the other golf courses. So that'll wrap up our core aerification practices for this year. And so.
Was it 26th through the 28th?
Yes, between Scottsdale and Brittany. It's 2 days on Scottsdale, 2 days on Brittany. And so kind of to date, we're at 5.2 acres of winter kill replacement that we've completed. We did a lot of it ourselves, and a lot of it we did with a contractor. So there was a lot of issues this year, as everyone knows, and certainly I don't think we were alone there. I know Daryl had been up to a golf course in Joplin, Missouri, was it? And had some, he noticed the same thing, low-lying areas, common Bermuda, they also took a hit. So I think it was just a tough year, a tough winter. I think for the most part we've gotten everything fixed. There's some small stuff we're going to be addressing over the next couple of weeks, but I anticipate being in really good shape by the end of the month. So one thing we're going to do this year is put out a fall fertilizer application to try to strengthen the turf going into the winter. We've seen some nice research lately where in the past, everyone thought nitrogen in the fall was maybe a bad thing. Well, recent research is showing that it actually helps, the spring green up process and maybe losing less turf to winter kill. So we're going to do everything we can for our Bermuda grass and try to make it, in case we get another rough winter, hopefully we lose minimal grass next year. So another course work update we're doing, number 4, Country Club. This is going to be similar to Burksdale number 13 that was done several years ago, Bermuda grass encroachment, and there's a significant amount. It's about 2,000 square feet of putting surface that has been lost over the years. So we're going to be doing a similar process to what was done at 13 Burksdale, spraying the Bermuda grass with Roundup. We'll be sod cutting that and removing it, and then replanting bent grass sod. And the timing on that is September 24th. There's Reed's done a wonderful job in the golf update. If you guys wanted to look at that, kind of detailing out the step-by-step process there. Zoysia, we'll talk about our trial work we decided to embark on. Number 1, Highlands was sodded with Zoysia grass, the whole thing. It looks phenomenal. 21 days it was open for play, and it looks really good. I've played on it twice since it's been open, and it's really in good shape. So I think talking with Greg today, he anticipates pulling the rope and stakes down in the next couple of weeks, and that'll be open for full access. So we're looking forward to that. And then the sprigs, if you guys wanted to follow along, I did take some pictures. So going to the second picture, which is number 18, Highlands. I just wanted to walk through this process. I feel like there's maybe a little bit of confusion on what we actually did. We used a machine to, yes. So we used the machine, and this was with a contractor, and they shredded sod and planted it. And what we did was, we are only the second golf course that's even attempted this, right? There's one course in North Carolina that's done it, so there's a lot of uncertainty on what the sprig rate was, what is acceptable to get grown in. So we wanted to try 3 different sprig rates. One time over was 600 bushels an acre. 2 times over is 1,200. 3 times over is 1,800. So we wanted to get a full, a full understanding of what it's going to take to do this in a reasonable amount of time for the lowest cost to the POA. So we tried 3 different planting rates. We were told by the University of Arkansas professors that have done this in a trial setting, expect about 12-week growing, so 84 days. This was taken on day 61, so we've still got about 3 weeks. This was taken yesterday, and you can see, I would say, maybe 60 to 70% coverage there. So pretty good, and that's in the three application rate, the 1,800 bushels an acre. So I'm going to reserve judgment until we at least get to the 12-week mark. So the next meeting we have, I'll be able to give a little bit more detailed report with probably some good evidence on, hey, this is this is going to be the rate we would do if we were to consider going this route. So.
What are the different rates?
Excuse me.
What are the different rates? You got one rate is how many?
600 bushels an acre, which, and then 1,200, 1,800, and that was 3 times over. And through this process, again, this isn't an established process that's been done all over. So there's some things that Greg and I noticed during the planting process that we could have done better, and some things that if we were to do this on a large scale, that we would do differently, and even, I think, really be a lot further along than we are here. So different things we can do to get more plants into the ground is what I noticed. After we planted, there was a lot of sprigs laying on top, and those are the ones that didn't make it. So the critical part of this process is getting those into the ground. So there's some different things we could have done. I think been even a little further along than we are. I still think this is really good progress for.
I noticed that there's some sod that you laid underneath.
Right. Yeah. So I think I think with this process, especially with however old our irrigation system is, there's always gonna be maybe some things that don't come in at the same rate. So there might be some sod work that, if we were to embark on this process on a golf course, there's probably gonna be a little bit of sod work that needs to happen. But in relation to the entire project, it would, you're still saving. Again, I think I gave the number a couple of meetings ago. If we were to sod all of the Highlands fairways, so that cost would be around $700,000. So to be able to sprig it, you might be able to do that for $100,000. If there's, a truckload of sod or something, it's still, you've saved just an enormous amount of money. So again,
Graham, can I ask you a question
sir.
about the process? We did it basically in the heat of the summer.
Right.
Do you think it will be more effective if we tried this in the spring?
Absolutely. So I actually had lunch with Dr. Wendell Hutchison. He's the turf professor down at the University of Arkansas today. He was talking about this trial work with him. He still is adamant March is the time to plant. And the reason being, we lost basically 4 weeks of growing time while the grass was just trying to root in. And so planting in March, the grass roots in, starts emerging out of the ground in April timeline probably, and then you capture all of those great growing days in May and in June, and if it's a 12-week grow-in, then we would anticipate being grown in sometime in June. So
what's kind of the follow-up plan after you've gone through the evaluation phase? Have we thought about what's next?
Yeah, I think, make a recommendation to the board, to Tom or the group here, and then hopefully we'll take it to the board as, hey, this is a way we can provide an optimal product for a great cost savings for the club if we're willing to, deal with a closure period versus the sod, in 3 weeks we could be open. However, there's an enormous cost to that. So I was asked by Ruth just to show a picture of this machine, and so I did that on the next. Yep. So that's the machine implement, the red machine attached to the tractor. The tractor is a separate deal. It attaches to any tractor, but the machine itself, here it is. It takes large roll sod, shreds it, cuts it into the soil, and then has a rolling mechanism on the back. So it's kind of a one-pass planting. The machine itself, $32,690, $2,500 in freight to deliver it here. Their lead time, I checked with them a couple of days ago. They're 8 to 10 weeks out from signed quote to delivery. So they're not really behind, which is a good sign if this was something we wanted to move forward with.
Is this in your budget proposal for next year?
Well, I haven't done our budget
That's one of
proposal
our
yet.
recommendations.
Yeah, it's our recommendation.
Yeah.
It would
And then
fall under maintenance, though, wouldn't it?
Machine.
No, it'd be capital.
The capital, right.
It's $30,000 purchase and then $100,000 for the sod, that's capital.
So at our next meeting, I want to give a full report, at the different planting rates, kind of what we've seen, what we can expect moving forward, if this was something we're going to move forward with. Going to the Bermuda trial, we're getting closer to that time where we're going to have the conditions to do that. Reed's targeting mid-September. Again, we're doing that around the entire area around the putting green at Country Club. So we'll give that a shot and see what we can do with it. Speaking to a couple of y'all that have noticed, good putting conditions out there. Obviously, there's a great group of superintendents here. I don't think anybody lost any bent grass this summer, which is phenomenal with some of the heat waves we've had. But also, we track this data, and I won't share a slide of it, but we can track green speed daily. Smoothness, trueness, all that stuff is trending in the right direction. So I'm excited about that. The guys are doing a great job. We anticipate that to continue, and it's a great way to if you can measure it, I think you can kind of manage it and get better. So that's one of the things that.
Can you describe what the GS3 ball is?
Yeah, it's USGA, United States Golf Association, came out with a Bluetooth ball, and it's a new technology that you take your stint meter, you roll the golf ball 2 directions on the same pass, and it will take this data and collect it. So it's with one pass, with one roll, it's measuring green speed, smoothness, which is vertical hopping, and then trueness, which is any side-to-side movement. And so that's how we, you know,
You basically do the same process with the step meter, except you roll a ball down it.
roll the GS3 ball.
GS3
Yes,
ball.
sir. Yep. So excited about that, and we'll continue using that. Tanyard Creek update, it is coming along nicely. The first area we sprigged, which is kind of the landing area for golf balls around the bunkers and everything, that's several months old and it's fully grown in, being mowed. We've even got the target greens kind of outlined out there. We anticipate that will show up better and better as we continue establishing that. The tees are about 4 weeks old, and the surrounding area around the tees is about 4 weeks old now, and it's coming in nicely. Anticipate being fully grown in about 6 weeks there. And then going to the greens, you know, we planted those greens, which is a heat-resistant bent grass, newest variety out, planted it midsummer, and really had a really nice take. Reed's doing a good job getting that established. You know, we anticipate, you know, having this kind of coverage right now. When we get into the fall season and Poania starts germinating, we're going to be dense enough. We're really not going to have a whole lot of Poania in these greens, which is one of the big reasons why we decided to do this, as well as being further ahead in the establishment process. So we anticipate a great fall coming up. Have a good product.
Grass that you planted in January, was it sod? Was it sprig?
Sprig, yeah. Yep. And then there is some final shape and sod work around the building that we're just waiting on. We have to get to a certain point until we can get the contractor back out to do that work. So originally maybe thought late August, but it's maybe looking like sometime in September now. So, and that's all I have. Any questions?
I think it'd be a good time to show the little snip video. If you haven't seen, we put a little camera up on the Griffith building, and it's time lapse and takes pictures. And I've been showing some of the membership that haven't seen it. We got it out there.
Say goodbye to old costly cable TV once
We'll
and
get
for
rid
all.
of the.
This revolutionary invention gives you access to your favorite.
It's pretty cool to see it moving like that, and it feels great. Both Graham and I have been down there a lot. Today, the windows are all in on the actual Tanya Creek stuff. The doors are in, the big pull-up doors in the hitting bays. We've got full swing with the simulator coming in at the end of the month. They'll start doing their first build out, and then they'll come back to get all the software in. So it's moving along great. It's exciting. I know I see a lot of looky-loos coming down there and taking a look, see what's going on, driving past with their phones out the window of the car, taking pictures. So I know our membership's excited. We had to kick the tour back another month because of the paving going in. It's been a little delay on that, and there's a lot of steps. When you walk in there, we want to make it safe for everybody to come and look. So we'll kick that back to September. And once we have that, we'll let everybody know and come on out. So hopefully by then, we will by then have all the cement poured, and you'll be able to see a little bit more about it. It's just safety is what we're taking, making sure everybody's good. No, sir, do not have a date yet. No, sir.
Tour.
The tour.
Tour is September 17th at 4 p.m.
Sorry, everybody's been asking me, Gary, when's it opening, and I do not have a date on that yet. Sorry, yeah, there we go. All right.
Go ahead.
You done? Might as well jump right in me. Yep. All right. Round report. If everybody remembers, July was extremely hot. I couldn't believe it. The afternoons was like a ghost town out there. We ended up with only 27 rounds down from last year's July, which is absolutely crazy. But our year to date is still ahead of last year's. I'll go through the numbers here in a little bit. We fell a little short in our pro shop for the first time in a long time. One of the reasons was that is the heat. We had to cancel 2 fitting days. It was just way too hard to get people out there hitting golf balls, sitting in the sun. That's kind of where it is. And obviously our range is down because Tanya Creek's down. But if we have a look at our numbers, we ended at 26,226, down by 27, as I said earlier. Members round, 16,210 is up by 691. Guest rounds at 10,000. Down by 718. Pro shop fell just short. But here's what I want to point out. Year to date, we're at 122,906. I remember when I started, that was our end of year. So I asked Tom, I said, right, we've hit years past, we're done. Can we go on vacation now? But it's crazy. We had 122,000 rounds, up by 3,450 over last year. Members at 77,000, that's 2,500 roughly over last year. Guest rounds at 45, that's up by barely 1,000. So rounds are good. This little cool snap helped to start August, but once again, here we are, the heat's upon us. So great numbers. I know one of the things I also want to point out is our range is at 29,409. When we didn't have the free range bulls, all range combined ended at 16,000 for the year. We've just got Highlands going, and Alex will allude to this. It's busy out there. Even with a range and a half going with Scottsdale, we had 29,000. That's incredible buckets going out the door. So golf is growing. Everything's extremely exciting about it, and we are ready to get Tanya Creek open to help with the fittings and the teaching that's going down there. So,
Daryl, I think it's important to point out that you're comparing last year, which was a record-breaking year, right? I mean, if we go back 5 years, these numbers are off the charts. And I think now it's speaking to a trend that golf is growing, and it's not just because of COVID. We obviously did a huge growth spurt during COVID because it was an outdoor activity. But now it's not because of COVID, it's because people are getting excited about golf again, and especially golf in Bella Vista. I talk to a lot of young guys that come out on the weekends, and they love it here. They absolutely love our courses. We offer the most premium golf you can find for public golf courses in all of Northwest Arkansas. It's not even close. And so I think we should really be proud, and you guys should take a bow because, you know, despite the difficult conditions that we had from a terrible winter, our courses are still the best. And, you know, and it's a great playing experience. And to see these numbers and to see them multiply over what we had in a record-breaking year last year, to see us going up from there, it's incredible. I can't wait till Tanyard gets reopened again. I think these range things next year are gonna be off the charts. It'll be crazy.
Yeah, thank you, I appreciate that. And the team, both Graham's team and my team are top notch, and I might jump into that. Kingswood Pro Shops open. Leslie Terry, fantastic job on purchasing, designing, the mural on the wall. If you haven't seen it, go down and see it. The space when you walk in has got a better flow to it. Paul's crew getting it together, the Mac division helping out, getting everything going. It's come together well, and we were excited to have the opportunity to kind of sneak it open early a little bit. We needed to, and the buzz is already out there. So get down there, buy your shirts with the new logo. The Crown logo stands out. It's really iconic. Had a lot of members stop me this morning and say that's really cool. So get your merch down there. And as you know, Tanya Creek, we've kind of covered Tanya Creek. I just want to do one quick blurb and then I'll hand it over to Alex. Is the AJGA is coming up over Labor Day weekend. It is a 5-star junior event, limited field, and this is huge for our Bella Vista community. We have a lot of people coming in from all over the country, and in fact, I found out over the world. We've got about 7 ladies from China that are over here that will be playing in our event. It's an elite crew. We have a qualifier on the Thursday. There'll be about 80 kids qualifying for literally 4 to 5 spots. That's how intense this tournament is. We have all colleges coming in for recruiting. They come and watch. It's really exciting for our community to host it. And one of the things that's lacking a little bit this year is our volunteers. And that's what makes it very different. I'm going up tomorrow to Joplin to watch an AJ going up there, and they don't have what we have. They don't have the volunteers. And I know some of the parents up there, they're going to stop and talk, oh, we can't wait to come to Highlands with all the bukus of volunteers that Ruth puts together. So I want to appeal to our membership and you guys in this room, talk to your friends. We need help. We need some volunteers. I know it's Labor Day weekend. I get it. Some people are traveling. Some people are out on the lakes. What do you want to do? But you can give up 4 hours of your time. Please come and help out. It's for the kids. We're not over there to watch, kids that are struggling to play golf. They qualify. I mean, they're 5 stars. These kids can play golf. It's crazy to watch them hit a golf ball. So shout out to Ruth. Thank you. We'll keep putting out there. You can apply reach to Ruth to get some volunteer stuff. I just want to get a little blurb out there. Let's make this and keep it going. Okay.
Can I add my 10 cents worth?
You please do. That's why I set you up.
Thank you very much. We need your help, guys. First off, we had 7 people who volunteered 4 days last year apiece. That's 28 slots. They've aged out. They're no longer able to do it, so we've got 28 spots to fill. And unfortunately, we lost 5 people to death from last year. So there's about 40 spots that are open that we would normally have filled. So we are down and we do need your help. So if everybody could go out and talk to their neighbors or talk to their golfing buddies and maybe get 2 or 3 people to bring in 1 day at least or a couple days to help. We've got all kinds of spots left. We've got timers, we've got tee marshals, ball spotters, a little bit of everything. So a couple of you have already volunteered yourselves, but if you could get other people to help out, it would be greatly appreciated. I can't tell you what it means to the kids that play and their parents. They're shocked at what we produce here and what we offer. It sends a message to our juniors that we care about. And I think that's a big message that we're sending. And as you will notice, and Alex does as well, the junior program has grown immensely since we started these things. So it kind of goes around, comes around. So we need your help. We've got things on websites. We've got all kinds of information. If you'd like some, I've got some that I can help you out. But we do need your help. We're down considerably. We'd like to fill them out. And Gary, how's your housing situation going? You're full? Okay, good.
Just want to give a shout out to the residents that opened their houses up again. We're housing 9 officials from the tour.
We don't house kids, we house
Officials. And
the officials.
Jim has volunteered to take an official. We've got
Good.
Deb and Stu Sorensen, Ann and Kirk Burgess, and Bob and Colleen Walford, all of jumped in and taken over.
And thank you, Gary, for heading that up. The AJGA had a meeting this morning on the phone, and they were very you guys are so organized in Bella Vista, because everything from volunteers to housing to the food for the volunteers, to everything, the water. We're a top-notch operation, and I appreciate it wasn't for you guys. Thank you all.
But the sooner you can get back to me, the easier we can get this filled out, we can get it going and be ready to go for next week and don't have to worry about it. Because it's difficult at the last minute trying to find people to fill in. So if we can do it ahead of time, we greatly appreciate it. So I will just say thank you for anything you can do to help and for those who've already signed up, so. Anything else, Daryl? Alex, you're up.
All right, thanks, Ruth. Our events for the season continue to get good participation. Since our last meeting, towards the end of July, we had the All in the Family at Kingswood, 156 players for that. I don't know if we could have fit too many more out there, to be honest with you, so really good participation of that. Was a great day, everybody had a great time. There was the Parent-Child Championship held over at Brittany, 38 players for that, so it filled up a full 9 holes. Very happy with how that went. Coming up, this is Men's Club Championship weekend, the Men's Club Champion and Senior Men's Club Champion going on. We have 97 players going. So that's a record that I've ever heard. Last year, I believe it was 88. And yeah, we continue to grow that event. So it looks like we're going to have good weather for it. And good luck to all those that are participating. We do have the Friends of Dogwood and Brittany event coming up on Labor Day, Monday, September the 2nd. That's an 8 o'clock shotgun start. There's flyers in each of the pro shops. It's listed on our POA website as well to get signed up for that. And then the prostate cancer tournament, that is coming up on Saturday, September the 21st at Bella Vista Country Club. And sign up for that has already started, so go ahead and get a team and get in there. This is our last go around for some Operation 36 fall classes. We've got men's, juniors, and ladies that are all starting next week. It's 8-week-long programs, and there's still plenty of room to get in there, so if anybody is interested in any of the Operation 36 programs, they all start next week for 8 weeks. And yeah, we appreciate the Futures Cup guys for all of that.
Yeah, you bet.
Thank you, guys. Any questions on any events?
Okay,
Thank you, guys.
Alex. Okay, next up, Tom's done his board liaisons. Dave and Jerry, do we have anything for, yes, sir?
I do. This would kind of go along the lines of what Tom was talking about, the orientation, the experience for the membership. I've had a concern for a while about golfers parking in the restaurant spots. And we haven't been real aggressive with that. This morning there was a shotgun start here at the country club. And just before 8 o'clock, I counted 13 vehicles parked in the restaurant area. Now we're about to open up another restaurant and it's going to get bad there too. My concern is that we're handicapping our restaurants by allowing golfers to use those spots with no consequences. So my question to the JAC is, do you feel that this is something that the JAC should address? And by that, it would just be, you know, a recommendation asking management to be more aggressive in enforcement, because what we've been doing hasn't been slowing them down. They're getting worse and worse and worse. So I just thrown that out there for your consideration. And
would it make sense, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong on this, if we had any traffic cones that we could put up on those days where we do have shotgun starts at Country Club, where we could put cones in the restaurant parking areas where there's no parking? I don't know if we have enough cones to do something like that, but it might prevent, and at least, you know, I don't think anybody'd be bold enough to get out of their car and move a cone, but there might be a few. Well, all right, maybe I'm wrong about that, but I mean, you gotta really be okay. I would be careful what I say, because you were talking about being careful what you say. But I maybe we could do that. Maybe we could try that, you know, where we just, I think it would, I love your point, David. I think it's absolutely, I see it every time I'm here playing in a shotgun, and it drives me nuts. It's like, guys, you can park up on the upper parking lot and drive a golf cart all the way up there and get your clubs. There's no reason for us to be taking all those restaurant parking spots. I agree with you. And then when the people come for lunch and all the spots are taken, and it's really inconvenient.
At the end of the round, and this was about 12:30 when I left the clubhouse, there was actually one car parked right at the bottom of the stairway in the crosswalk, because there was no other place for them to park and come in, apparently.
Right.
So they parked right in front of the stairs.
Well, we certainly need to, again, remind people that this is not just a golf club, but this is also a restaurant. And we should encourage all of our members to be aware of that. It's clearly marked which one's a restaurant. It's very clearly marked. Same at Highlands. Honestly, it's the same thing at Highlands. So we have a lot of spots there that are marked for restaurant only, and there's supposed to be a 2-hour parking. But I see a lot of members parking, they're golfing there too. So, it's something that, I'm glad you pointed it out.
My recommendation would be, before we do enforcement, why don't we have a little card that says these spots are reserved? And so when we find cars parked there after the 8 o'clock should start, before the restaurant is open, those are the violators. So why don't we put something on the windshield that just says, here's a reminder, you really shouldn't be here. And then from there, months later, you can do some heavier enforcement, but at least give them a warning first.
That's been the policy at Highlands. After a shotgun start, I'll have one of my guys go out there and put a little window tag, says, hey, this spot has been reserved, blah, blah, blah.
We did the tag here for a couple months, and then it didn't stop. But I think I'm going to reach out to Tommy and figure out how we can get the cones out after hours and when we can pick them up. That's going to be the tricky thing. But I think I'm going to try the cone deal and see what happens.
You could just use a rope too. You don't need 50 cones. You can just go.
We got to be careful of people walking with rope. That's the deal. Cones, we'll try the cones right out the bat and see where it's at.
We just put in the updates about the restaurant parking, et cetera, so we've just put that in, and I don't know if there's been any notice of any difference since those went in or not, so, because they are approaching and explaining it, so it's out there, so. Okay, we can kind of mull this over and see what comes up and go from there. Thank you, David. Anything else, Jerry? Do we have any emails or anything? Okay. Old business, budget for 2025. We have on our budget, we sent out to everybody, the 3 items. Recommendation, one was we recommend any budget money available should go to sprigging, fairway, and tee boxes, understanding that the sod to spring process machine, is that what they call it? Sod to sprig? Okay. A machine should be purchased first because we rented or used them last year to do it, and we figured the cost-effective purchase ourselves. So that was our #1 priority when we thought that the fairways need the attention first. Our second item was leveling of tee boxes. Another item was tree program to replace trees taken out of the course that change the integrity of the golf experience. Those 3 items is what we came up with. Is there any discussion on that at this time, or do we want to rearrange those in any order? Talk to me. Those 3 items are okay in the order they're in? Okay. Mr. Tom, here's our recommendation.
Thank you.
Okay, we appreciate that. We thank you. And those will be turned in to the board for recommendation from our committee. The next item is the update of the survey of the winter cart pass. Do we have a general update on that as to what we've got coming in?
What we have right now is 860 recipients or participants have submitted a survey. We'll hold off on reporting what the results are because they could shift if we get additional, but we'd really love to get above 1,000. So we're going to continue to push that out, but talk to your buddies. If they haven't filled it out, please do so. Good start with 860, but would love to get over 1,000.
I've had a couple emails come in with suggestions, of course. I mean, more than a couple. And my answer to that is, we don't want suggestions. We ask them to please complete the survey. That's what we want. A lot of them said, we're not completing the survey, but we need to do this. No, that's not what this is about. We got the questions, complete the survey so we get your input, and that's what we want. So I'm asking everybody, group leaders, everybody, get it out there, get those answers in. That would help us out.
Okay, it went out to Golf Update. It went out to group leaders themselves.
It goes out to group leaders this week.
Okay, so they have not had it yet, per
No,
se.
but they've got it
Okay.
on the golf
Yeah, I know,
updates and stuff.
but they haven't had it to talk to their groups yet. So that should give us a kick of at least several hundred once we get out. Hopefully everybody will, and to talk it up with your friends, so. But 860 is a pretty good representation to start out with, so. Have we done anything with guests? Any guests have access to it?
If they're in our database under the golf,
Okay.
then they get it too.
Okay,
With that being said, the majority of people that are filling it out are members.
Members, yeah.
Our database is primarily members.
yeah, okay, and that's okay.
I had a gentleman I played golf with this morning, actually, told me that 2 questions didn't constitute a survey. I tried to explain to him, we're trying to keep it nice and simple, not take up a lot of your time, get right to it, and
But that's the issue we want to
Daryl
know.
probably got an email from
Yeah.
him. I imagine he was one of them.
Yeah, but that's what we want to know. Will you,
Yeah, I
will,
mean, keep in mind, we are not professional survey writers. But I feel that the 2 questions, whether they are survey or not, 2 questions sufficiently get across the, what we're trying to, the information that we're trying to get out of the membership. And I think it's accomplishing that goal. And I think that some of the people that have an issue with the survey is because they don't like the subject matter.
okay, anything else? Anything else at all? If not, next regular meeting is, can't be August 14th. When is it? September 10th, was it? What's the second Wednesday in September? And nobody stopped me on that?
Too busy. 11.
17th, September 11th at 4 o'clock here. What? Yeah.
Why are they drying out? I get this all the time with the leagues are playing on Kingswood, for example. The lakes are going dry, and I did get to observe, I don't think it was a member actually tried to get a ball out in the middle of it. And so, why are they dry?
I got a quick backstory, and I'll probably need to go back to Shane, but he said at some point that lake on Kingswood seems to have sprung a leak, and there's no way to keep that full pool without just, I mean, it's just constantly losing a significant amount of water. So I'll get back with you and make sure that, yeah, that's 100% though.
Okay, we stand adjourned.